Slurping. Good morning, everybody. It is 8:30 here in Alabama on a Saturday. Hope everybody's doing well this morning.
Hope everybody had a great 4th of July.
That's right. 4th of July is now over. And
it is the 5th.
It is the 5th of July. I didn't say that, did I? I look like I've been asleep for a long time.
Because we have.
So if y'all think we look a little rough this morning, we'll get better with time. Come Tuesday, we should be better. But today we're moving a little slow. And there's Dee Dee, of course.
You tried to get her to come in.
I tried to get Dee Dee to come in. She said she's not been with me for a whole week, so she wanted to follow me everywhere I went and would not come back in because she thought I was going to take care of animals.
Now she realizes you're not.
No. So we posted a couple of pictures yesterday afternoon and said we would be going live this morning. And a lot of guesses where we went.
Did anybody guess it?
First of all, we weren't going to say where we went on vacation because we don't want it to come off as, we went somewhere you didn't. And that's just the honest just behind it. We don't want it to ever come. It's our family vacation. We take one a year, but we don't want anybody to feel like we think we're special. We've had this plan for a long time, and guesses where we went. Some people said that they thought that we were faking it with all the clothes on. They thought we were trying to make people guess that we went somewhere that we didn't go.
That's a good one too.
I read several of those. They're just putting those clothes on. Nowhere in North America is it that cold. That's what they were saying. Several people said it's not that cold anywhere in North America. Well, it is because you forget about the 49th state. So we went to Alaska, and it by far surpassed everywhere we've ever been. Not that we're well-traveled people, no, but Alaska is amazing. And so we wanted to share with y'all our experience because I wish for everybody to be able to see the beauty. I really do. It's beautiful.
It is. It's beautiful. We stayed in Seward, Alaska. That's where we stayed the entire time. Except we flew into Anchorage and then we took a train to Seward and then we drove back to Anchorage. Seward it's
a port city. So, people that take cruises around Alaska, a lot of times their ships are, harbored at in Seward because it is a port city. A lot of people were getting on the ships there and going to Canada, cruising around Alaska. We did not get on a cruise ship. We flew into Anchorage and then we rented a car and drove all around the area. And I must say, I'm telling y'all, the pictures don't do it justice.
It really doesn't. It's unreal, and it doesn't seem real. It's completely surrounded by mountains and the ice caps, and then
water everywhere.
And the water is a blue color, like a blue, and sometimes gray. But it's because it's coming off the glaciers.
Jason's been saying glacier for a whole week. And so he's trying to break glacier and just say glaciers. I must say that we did a whole lot of walking.
Yeah, it is a hiker, birder, nature lover, or camper
paradise. And that's what we like to do, is we like to be outside. A lot of people don't want to go somewhere like that, and we respect that, but we're outdoorsy people. And there was a conversation that I had on our last trip to Dauphin Island, Alabama, and it was with a gentleman that had been birding for 50 plus years. So we had been planning to possibly go to the Northwest, Oregon specifically, because there were a lot of birds in Oregon. And so he said, well, where all have y'all been on your birding journeys. And we said, well, we were thinking of possibly taking a trip to Oregon over the summer. And this was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said, well, what part of Oregon? And his wife used to live in that part of Oregon. He was like, well, it's okay. And he wasn't being, he just was giving his opinion. And I said, okay, in all of your birding years, where, in your opinion, in the United States, I don't want to travel outside the United States, not yet, is your favorite place? And he said, Seward, Alaska. I never heard of Seward, Alaska.
I've never heard of Seward, Alaska.
So I started doing my research, and y'all, I pretty much had this Oregon trip planned out.
Oh yeah, the Oregon trip. Yeah.
The Oregon trip was pretty much, and this was months in advance because I needed to have everything right in my mind and my planner. And when he said that, I just pretty much started scratching everything I'd done and starting over. And that's how we landed in Seward, Alaska. And I must say, it did not disappoint with birds either.
Yeah. I got 45 new species. Mary Carl got 39 new species, which comparison to the main trip, I think she got 22. So almost double the birds. And it was unreal. You can see some of our birding lists. And that was the whole gist of us going, was the birding part of it. And it's unreal. It's this, you could probably go there 100 times and not see it all. And it's a tiny, tiny port city. No outside commercialism, I should say, anywhere. I think we counted 3 gas stations. No, everything is local. The hotels, the restaurants. It was just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Much like our main trip last year, there was no outside, franchises, I should say. It was
and
such a relief.
That's right up our alley. I understand that some people want to go to hustle and bustle and where that stuff is happening, but we're quite the opposite, and we just like small town vibe, and this was just perfect.
Yep.
The food was great. We had halibut for the first time.
It was wonderful, and had rockfish for the first time. And then there was was it black cod? What was the one?
Black cod.
I never had it either. It was all great. Somebody asked about the mosquitoes. Well, that was the first question that. So one of my friends asked me, "How bad are mosquitoes?" Well, we were in the port city itself. When you're in the little town, it was zero mosquitoes. And I thought, it's not that bad. Mosquitoes aren't that bad. Absolutely not that bad at all. So then we went on the hiking trails, and soon as we got on the hiking trails, the mosquitoes are there, and their mosquitoes are 6 times bigger than the mosquitoes we have here. But it was so cool outside. We had, long sleeves on.
Oh, we were completely covered everywhere except for our face and our neck.
And our hands. And my hands got bit. Nowhere else got bit. My face didn't get bit. My neck got bit. My hands did get bit, but they were all around your head to some degree.
You were constantly looking like Bruce Lee, trying to get the mosquitoes out of your face.
And some trails were worse than others. It's like when we got close to Exit Glacier, they were really bad there.
Glacier.
I said glacier.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, you were anticipating.
Oh, yeah, I was.
But some other ones wasn't that bad. But the mosquitoes were rough. They were really rough. I saw somebody ask about bears. Bears were in the back of my mind.
Jason was worried about the bears.
Did not seem to be worried about bears, but bears was the back of my mind. Somebody said they lived there. They lived there for 3 years.
In Seward?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
But we never saw any bears.
Never saw any bears.
They would write on the hiking trails, like some of the hiking trails, if there was bear sightings or something like that. The glacier, the Exit Glacier hiking trail, there was bears seen there, but that was depending on you. You could walk literally up all the way beside the glacier, up on top of the ice field. But you had to be an experienced hiker to go that far. It was 4 4.2 miles there, and of course 4.2 miles back.
But it was uphill. It was strenuous.
Yeah, they said it was pretty. It would take anywhere from 6 to 8 hours to do that hike. We are not experienced hikers.
So we did. This is just one of my pictures, but we did see several moose, and that was one of the highlights of my trip. Now, early on, we saw a single female moose, and then we saw a moose and her baby, and then we saw a moose family, and he was a young one. He was a young bull. You can see his antlers are not developed that drastically, but y'all, they were beautiful sight to see in the wild, and their scat was everywhere. I mean, in the middle of the road, you could tell
everywhere.
You could tell that they just frequent the city. They just go everywhere. So we did get to see the moose in their, natural habitat, which was very meaningful to me. Seals, sea lions. There were 3 different kinds. Harbor seal.
It was just 2. There's the harbor seal, and then the sea lion, and then sea otters.
Yeah. So that's why they called it 3.
Yeah.
But nature at its finest. Oh my gosh.
Humpback whales.
Saw 2 of those.
Them, a mom and a baby.
And
that wasn't even in. We went on like a little boat ride, and it was for birds. Well, Miracle, we did it for birds, but it was just to see the harbor and the bay, and just the sights. And then on the way back, there was a mom and a baby humpback whale, this wasn't a whaling. They said we were extremely lucky they hadn't seen a whale in
3+ months.
Yeah, it'd been a while, and it was just right there.
And she came up and she showed her tail, and then the baby came up and the baby showed its tail. It was just amazing. It was just amazing.
It was.
Did I go to the hardware store in Seward? Yes. The Ace Hardware right there in the middle of town was pretty much a local store, I guess you would say. Fishermen would come in. How was your fishing this morning? It was like, they knew you were an outsider.
Yeah.
It wasn't that many people that went in there that weren't locals.
Right. Yeah, it was quite beautiful. Brooke, that's all of us. How'd you handle the flight, Brooke?
Y'all, I thought the flight was like 4 hours. and I booked this trip. Jason booked the Delta because I couldn't do all that plane business. So he put all our names in and all that stuff to make sure it was accurate. And I had looked at the flight. All I did was look at the time, though. I looked at the time we left Atlanta and the time we arrived into Alaska. And I thought the flight was 4 hours until like the day before. I realized it was 7.5 hours.
Yeah.
And I kind of started getting nervous because I knew that I'd flown to Maine at 3 hours and I was okay. So I thought 4 hours is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then I figured out it was 7.5.
Yeah. The time change was crazy, but Brooke did well on the flight. Her doctor gives her a little anti-anxiety medicine. And so Brooke did well on the flight. But the time change was crazy. It took us a minute. And I saw a lot of people asking, did we see the northern lights? Well, right now it is
3 hours of daylight, 4 hours of daylight.
No, opposite.
4 hours of dark is all.
Yeah. We never saw it get dark. We went to bed before it got dark. I have no idea what time it got dark. So we never saw the northern lights.
Oh goodness. Around midnight is when it got dark. And we were whooped.
Yeah.
By that time. So we were, excuse me, we were fast asleep by that time. But Mary Carl said she had read about it and she did not think that we would have seen them very vividly anyway.
Very been faint. Yeah.
So we didn't want to set up a alarm to wake ourselves up to see something that potentially may not even.
And especially when it's 12 o'clock there, if it was at midnight, that means it's
8 o'clock here or 9 o'clock here.
Yeah.
No, 3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh goodness. Yeah. We're still messed up.
Yeah. I would be texting my friends
Oh, I had to look at the time.
and I'd send them, and then I wouldn't get a reply back, and I forgot. You know, it would be 8 o'clock p.m. where we were, so it's 11 o'clock here in Alabama. So, yeah, it was really, really crazy. The time change was crazy.
Mary wanted to know if we would go back to Alaska.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was. I could live in Seward, Alaska.
I could too.
Yep.
And my first thought was, our child's going to be gone, because she sees that there are other. I mean, not that she didn't see there was other places to live on our other travels, but this was right up her alley. And
it was right up her alley.
I wouldn't falter at all if she decided to make Alaska her future home. Of course, there was no discussion of that, and I don't want there to be, but it was beautiful.
It literally is what they call it, the last frontier. Is that what they call it? I think that's something they call it. I mean, Anchorage is not. Anchorage, that was a gnat. Anchorage.
You thought that was a mosquito, didn't you?
Anchorage is like Birmingham to us.
Yeah.
It's a big bustling city, but once you kind of got outside Anchorage, it slows down. And y'all that camping, I swear, they really don't care where you camp at.
No,
I mean, there's people camped. I mean, they just got spots set up, and it was so beautiful and so clean. We never saw any trash on the side of the road. And there's probably, I don't know how many state parks or locally owned parks and bathrooms at every single one, and everything's just so clean. And I don't know, it was just really, really, really pretty. Like I said, it's a camper's dream. If you like camping, definitely a place to go for sure. There's you can rent campers when you get there, but there's a lot of people that camped in tents. I mean, it wasn't like it was so much, camping that you couldn't see anything. It wasn't like that at all. They have special designated areas, but it was all just intertwined and everything. And yeah, beautiful. It was I don't know. I would love to go camping there for sure.
Yeah, I would too. And this trip was a learning experience. Of course, we stayed in a it was a lodge, just what it was, but this experience let us know that we literally could pack a tent if the weather, was right, and we'd be fine. Of course, we'd have to have food sealed up because of bears and all that good stuff, but the temperature hovered around 55 pretty much for the high the entire time we were there. Now, that day that we were all bundled up and you saw that picture, we were on a boat.
Yeah.
And it felt like 18 because it was,
the wind was blowing really hard on the water, and then the boat would get to going, and then the water splashing up. So yeah, it was pretty cool on the boat.
On the boat, it was cold. I had to go buy thermals for the boat because we knew that when we got close to water, anytime we got close to water, it was a lot cooler. Of course, we were prepared clothes-wise, but I had a lady that I talked to right before we left that told me that her daughter wore the pants like I had on that day, which were just thin, like hiking pants, in Seward, and she was comfortable. And so I thought I was going to overpack if I wore my line pants or took my line pants or whatever. Everybody's different. She was comfortable in those pants. I was not. I needed more clothes. So it's just a matter of who you are as to how you dress.
Yeah. Yeah, it was such a relief to get away from this climate we have here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just knew that we were all going to end up sick, and while we haven't been back but a day, I feel like I felt like I was going to be sick there. I felt like from being on the plane with all the people, and of course I took precautions, but I just felt like being in that enclosed area, I was going to end up sick. And so far, y'all, so good. So far, so good. Now, we did have seats separated in the plane because it was a 2-3-2 plane, meaning 3 seats in a row in the middle, but the 3 in the row were all booked up by the time we booked our flight. So there was no way we could get 3 in a row. And I was scared that I would need to sit by the wing to have a, less motion. And so my seat was by the wing. Jason and Mary Carl's was in the back. And I didn't have anybody sitting beside me on the way. So I was good. I was able to, stretch out and be comfortable. But on the way back, there was a lady that was not feeling well and she was wearing a mask. And I just knew I was going to get sick. And it's not over yet. I still might. But I tell you, even if I did get sick, it was worth it. It was worth it. How did Caden do? Caden did well. Caden had training for about a week before we left.
He did.
He watched us feed. Y'all, the labels that we have on everything, the papers that we have that are printed out are ridiculous, but we wanted to make sure there was no question.
Right.
For Catherine or Caden. Catherine fed in the evenings. Catherine just lives down the road, and it's just a little much for Catherine to feed at her place and then come here in the mornings when it's so hot. So they worked well together. They worked very well together.
Yeah, no problems there. Somebody asked what was our favorite food. Gosh, it started off great because I had salmon tacos at a place, and they were absolutely to die for. They were unbelievable. The halibut was unbelievable. I'm a huge fan of chowder because we don't do chowder here in Alabama. So the chowder was absolutely amazing no matter where I ate it at. Then there was a halibut stuffed crab and a lobster bisque that was kind of like mac and cheese to us. It was delicious. So
that was your favorite.
That was good, and the tacos were really good. I don't know what was the best though. I really don't.
My favorite was some crab cakes. Had some crab cakes, and of course they're known for their king crab. And then I had a crab grilled cheese on the last night. It was in Anchorage actually, but oh my gosh. And you dipped it in a seafood bisque. It was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
It was good. All the food was great. It was every morning we found a little old bakery that served the hotel coffee. Well, it wasn't even a hotel. What do you call it?
It's a lodge,
but it was like a hotel.
So I'd read previously that they had a coffee maker. So of course we packed our Cog Hill coffee and took it with us. And I thought that we were fully prepared. I said, well, we'll have our good coffee because I am picky about coffee. I used to not be. I used to could drink any coffee, but and y'all told me to just take it with me. Every room has a coffee maker. Just take your coffee with you. So we packed it in our luggage because you couldn't take it in your carry-on. Had it in a Ziploc bag. We had Ryan's coffee with us, and lo and behold, the coffee maker didn't take like grains.
They didn't have any filters there, and it was a weird coffee maker, but they had coffee that goes in it.
Like pod. It was not like a K-cup. It was like a pod.
Like a package. What they called it. And you drop it in there. Whatever. It was. Brooke made it. Said coffee's fine. And then drank a cup. So then I went and drank a cup, and I drank about 3 sips, and I had to pour it out. It was terrible. It was awful.
So from that point forward, Jason, bought coffee.
Oh, man, it was terrible.
I was able to tolerate that, but we weren't going to buy a coffee maker because we couldn't get it back home with us.
Yeah.
And the breakfast, we ate the same exact thing every single day. There was a little, what was that place called? Spotluck? Spotluck?
Something like that.
That person that lived in Seward knows exactly where I'm talking about. It was a little bakery. And it was all homemade, like all stuff that was high calorie, pretty much. Just
all the goodies.
Beautiful stuff. And of course, we wanted every bit of that, but we wanted to start our day off with something that would, be filling and do our bodies good. So the first day we got some overnight oats. And if y'all don't know what that is, it's just oatmeal that's been soaked in some sort of milk with some goodies overnight. And it was what we ate every single morning.
Yeah, they had homemade bagels in there. Mary Carl likes bagels, and so that's what she wanted every morning.
Somebody said, "Oh, there they go. That person knew
it.
Thank you. Is it Leanne?
Yep.
Thank you, Leanne. I still can't say it, but you're exactly right.
That's it.
Homemade cinnamon rolls. Mary Carl got a bagel every morning slathered in cream cheese. But somebody said you don't count calories when you're on vacation. Well, it was more about something being good for our body to start the day.
We did so much walking. I was scared to eat something super sweet in the mornings, which we did end up. The cinnamon rolls were. You just have to see what they. A matter of fact, you know what? I got
You got a picture?
Mm-hmm.
So the last morning when we got the overnight oats, I've made them here at home, but my ingredients are never. That's the cinnamon roll. Oh my gosh!
And they were good because they wasn't overly
super
sweet. Yes.
Salmon
Tacos.
Oh, I thought it was something about a bagel. I saw something about some kind of salmon spread that was, and here we are saying salmon.
Yeah,
I thought we'd say salmon when we got back, but we're still salmon. So the last day after we had eaten these overnight oats every single day, I went in and I told Jason, I said, you reckon they'll tell me what kind of milk they used? Because that was my concern. Is we always used whole milk, and I wanted to know why they were so much better than the ones that I made. So I went in and I said, "Hey, do you mind telling me what some of the ingredients were in the overnight oats?" Y'all, she gave me the recipe.
Gave Brooke the entire recipe.
Gave me the recipe. It was literally on a little sticky note, and I converted it all last night.
Oh, did you?
I did. I converted it all last night. So if that's something any of you are interested in, I'll get it posted on our website because I'm going to start making them. It was just something good to get your body going. And we have a problem with breakfast. We do. We have a problem with breakfast because we need something quick. We're going to feed the animals. We need it to be healthy because obviously we got a long day ahead of us. And adding that fresh fruit to the top of it, oh my gosh, they were delicious. They were delicious. Yes, so please good. On the recipe. Okay, I'll post the recipe. So I did convert it, and I don't know how many it makes, but the recipe, you can cut it in half or whatever. But Jason and I are thinking we're going to mix up all the dry ingredients and then add our milk a little at a time.
I think so too, because it made a batch.
Oh yeah, this is obviously for a restaurant. It's got honey in it. There's nothing bad for you. Coconut, almonds, pistachios, chia seeds.
It was good. It was really good. Bananas, strawberries.
Yeah. Okay, everybody's wanting the recipe.
We'll do it. Yep.
Yes. So we will post it.
You can do it both ways. Somebody want to know cold or hot, depending on what kind of container you put it in. We ate it cold.
We did.
But you could, heat it up if you wanted to. Whatever way you wanted to heat it up. You can heat it up. Yep.
And it really wasn't anything extra special. It was just the perfect mix compared to the ones that I've made. The ones that I've made have always been a little too soggy or a little too just not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah. It was good though. It was absolutely delicious.
It was good. And it's good for you. It's no, you could add anything you wanted to. There were cranberries in it. Now our local stores don't have any unsweetened cranberries, so I had to ordered some of the stuff last night. And they had no raw pistachios at our local store. Of course they had shelled, but they were salted or roasted.
Right.
And we wanted raw.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Well, we'll post the recipe for sure.
We'll post the recipe. But we are definitely back, and it is kind of like hit in the face with the heat and humidity. You don't realize how, well, you do realize how hot it is, but everybody that asked us where we were from, they were like, oh, the heat, how do you stand it there? But this is our home.
Get used to it. You get used to it some kind of way.
Yeah.
Speaking of though, I don't know if I say you get used to it. I know that here lately, in the last few years, I got where I, have to take a break. When it's 1, 2, 3 o'clock, we have to, riding the lawnmower, all that's different, but physically working, planting plants, gardening, whatever. I have to take a break. And a matter of fact, I was talking to Lester about it. I don't know how the subject came up. We were talking or texting. And I told him, I said, I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older or is it getting hotter or a combination of both. But, I have to take a break. And he says that around 11 o'clock, he stops and then has to stop until the later in the evening. And then he goes, and I'm basically the same way too on physical labor out there. It is just tough now.
I think it is partly age because Caden,
It don't bother him, does
it
it?
doesn't, but well, he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't say anything if it does. He, I've encouraged you to just stop midday. And if you need to edit. If you need to catch up on paperwork, do
Yeah.
that. I don't say that I'm tougher when it comes to the heat, but I think Jason having one kidney has something to do with it too, because we'll be doing the same thing and he'll say, I gotta have something to drink. And he's like, I mean, it's like you got to have something to drink. You know that you're fixing to be dehydrated if you don't. So it's just, it's just different for everybody.
Plus,
And
I have dehydrated.
yeah,
Completely dehydrated. And once it happens, you're more prone to it more easily. Kind of like having a heat stroke. If you have a heat stroke, the chances of you having a heat stroke again increase because, some switched in your body. And so, yeah, you have to be very, 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 very careful.
I tell you what, it was about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe. I was doing something. It was late afternoon and I was digging is what I was doing. And I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't have any water with me. And I told Jason he was coming to look at what I was doing. I said, please bring me some water. I think I was on the verge of having a heat stroke.
It's easy.
I was soaking wet, sweating, and then all of a sudden I stopped sweating. And the next day I felt sick all day. I just felt sick the whole next day. So, it can happen quickly before you know it, especially if you're deeply invested in what you're doing. I just was digging and digging and digging and digging, and I didn't realize how much energy I was using and not taking in any liquid.
Yeah, it's tough. The humidity what makes it so bad here. I think a lot of people when they come to the southeast part for the first time, they hear about how hot it is here, and then the heat's not that. I mean, heat's bad, but it's the fact that it's just you never dry. It's so sticky and muggy is what is rough. That's that you can breathe it. I mean, you can literally breathe. There's no dry heat in Alabama, hardly ever.
When we lived at the old farm, I can remember me, Carl was in school. So she's going in 10th grade and she started being homeschooled in 4th grade. So this was a long time ago, but I was outside working and I was in the shade and my mama was home. Jason was at work and I fell out. And I got to the water hose somehow. And I just took the water hose and I was just pouring it on top of me. And I somehow got my phone and I called my mama and I told her I needed her to help me. And I think I may have had a heat stroke then because I literally fell out and, got that water on me quick and just, it happens fast.
Yeah, it happens fast. It's terrible. Yeah, I keep a cooler now. I don't know if you saw a video. I keep a cooler in the side by side now all the time, and try to keep drinks in it all the time. It's rough, terrible.
It is. It is. Our ice maker doesn't work in our refrigerator, so they're in the process of. Thankfully, we bought an extended warranty. But this refrigerator has given us fit since we bought it. They've replaced the ice maker once.
It's a COVID fridge.
It's a COVID fridge, 2020 model. And we bought that extended warranty not with the thoughts that we would ever use it, but we're getting our money's worth.
Yep.
Because how many times have we had it fixed? 3, maybe?
3.
And now the warranty has been converted from being an in-house warranty, which is what we bought, to an external warranty company. They sent the guy out to diagnose it. He knew what he needed. And then the warranty company says, nope, we're sending our own technician out. So we don't have an ice maker. So we're continuously buying ice to keep our water cool in the cooler. You know what? I've got that little ice maker that I had in the camper.
Yeah.
I need to plug it up.
Yeah, I need to plug that up. Make sure it works too.
I'm sure it does.
No, it's a KitchenAid.
It's a KitchenAid. When here a couple of weeks ago, we went in the kitchen and there was water all over the floor. And so Jason pulled the refrigerator out and we just knew it was the line that went to the ice maker. So we took
Mhm.
it off, and I went and bought another line, $30 for this line. Come to find out, it wasn't the line; it's leaking from up under it.
Yeah, so the guy, he looked up under it and he found where the leaks coming from. It's come from a hose underneath the fridge. And then he said, "You having any troubles with it overheating?" And I said, "Well, yeah, it feels kind of hot." He said, "The fan's broken." And he said, "You can obviously tell that there's no way y'all damaged the fan because there's nothing damaged whatsoever. It's inside the refrigerator damaged." And he thought he could rig it up some kind of way, but he couldn't. We've had this refrigerator for how long now?
Well, 5 years.
4 years?
5 years, because it was a 2020. We bought the refrigerator before
Okay.
we, moved in.
But he said he said during COVID, the parts were the supplies were terrible and they were putting these things together because the demand was so high that that he said I've seen, I forget what brand refrigerator, some, I don't know, because it's way above my head.
Sub-Zero.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Like a $30,000 or $40,000 fridge. I don't know who needs that. Spend that much on a refrigerator. He said, but they would be the same way during COVID. He said they would just. He said, I bet you money that fan was either weak or was already broken, or they broke it putting it in there, but there was no quality control back then, and just boom, and out the door went. And so that's what happened to ours. Right here.
It's always sounded like a telephone ringing ever since we got it.
Mm-hmm.
But, we're not going to call them and tell them, hey, the phone's ringing in our refrigerator. We don't know what to do about it.
Is your refrigerator running?
It's running all right. But we just, and he said once that fan's replaced, which who knows if they're going to replace it with the external warranty company, he said that we will realize that it hasn't been working properly.
Yeah.
After they replace that fan, because it's not working.
Yeah, most appliances are not built to last, and they realize that. That's all intentional.
Yeah, and that's one reason we bought the extended warranties, because we expected something to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, the appliances that we bought at our house before this, we felt like we did really good with them. We left that house with the appliances still in there, and they had been in there for 16 years.
Those were Gen Air.
They were Gen Air, which is
dishwasher
Whirlpool.
though. We had to replace
dishwasher went bad.
Yeah,
but we didn't go back with the same brand because the price on the Gen Air had just skyrocketed.
It's crazy,
and we couldn't afford it. So we went with KitchenAid, thinking that we would, buy the extended warranty and it be in-house. And lo and behold, the warranty company has started subbing things out. I asked the warranty company, I said, can the company just fix it? Because they've already came and diagnosed it. They would save themselves a trip.
Yeah.
No, ma'am. We have to send our own technician.
And who knows when that is?
Oh, well, it's already scheduled. It's scheduled for Monday, but
we'll see.
That means that, well, we have to get Holly, because obviously Holly doesn't like strangers. So we have to make sure that, nothing happens with Holly. Have to be outside. It's just a pain when the technician's already been here and diagnosed
it. It is. And I know we like the other technician a lot.
Yeah.
The guy that's worked on it several times. He's so nice, so professional, so courteous, and has always fixed it. And we've had the opposite. They'll come in and look and just start throwing parts at it. And I don't.
Yeah, Gen Air is made by Whirlpool, and KitchenAid's Whirlpool. So we're all in the same boat, pretty much. Yeah. I believe that's what it is 30 refrigerator's 30 years old. I suggest you put a compressor in it if it goes bad, because they don't make them like they used to.
They don't. And like I said, that's intentional. I've read that somewhere, that the appliance companies realized how much money they were losing.
Oh, we were going through washing machines like crazy. And ours is a Maytag commercial. I wanted a Speed Queen, but the Speed Queen was a little pricier than what we wanted to pay for. And so we went with the Maytag commercial, and I shouldn't even say this, but so far so good. So far so good. Right?
That's right.
It's not the front loader, it's the top loader, the old time with the agitator.
That's right.
We gotta get our clothes clean around here. We dirty people.
And sometimes it don't work.
We dirty people. Sometimes they got to be washed twice.
Yeah, we get kind of nasty.
So I asked Jason yesterday, I said, what do you think Willie's going to do when he sees you? Because I feel like Willie is, he's new. He's one of the newest animals here besides Reska. But I feel like he is more personable than the rest of the animals. So I said, Jason, what do you think Willie's going to do when he sees you? He said, wonder where his food is. And sure enough, Willie was nodding that head, wanting to know where his food was.
Where's my food at, man?
Peaches didn't even wake up. I had, we have to touch Peaches to make sure everything's okay because she just sleeps all the time now.
Especially when it's hot like this. Yeah, I don't blame her.
When it gets cool again, she'll start making her laps. But when it gets hot, she goes and does her business and comes back and finds a spot. I don't blame her. But nobody really acted like we had been gone. Nobody. Holly is still at the boarding facility. We couldn't pick her up yesterday because it was the 4th of July. And so I will pick her up after this live. Holly's reaction is going to be great.
Yeah, they send us pictures every day. Holly is at it's a great place. We're really,
so
really
thankful
good.
To have.
So thankful. It's kind of like a doggy daycare, but they send us pictures.
This was Holly's 4th of July yesterday.
She had some doggy cupcakes.
And the place is wonderful. Holly has friends, and every day we get 5 or 10 pictures of her, and just let us know that she's doing well. And without Holly having somewhere to stay, we couldn't go. Everybody else pretty much can take care of themselves. Mama takes care of the dogs, letting them in and out, and but Holly, she has to have a job, and so her job is at doggy daycare.
Yeah, they wear them out.
She
they got playground and toys and swimming pools and lots of good times of it. The pictures are obvious that she's having a great time.
Yeah. So is that a scam?
Where?
Right there, that long. Okay. But yeah, Caden, we didn't want him to be nervous about feeding whatsoever. The most important part to us was that everybody got the right feed.
Yeah.
And, that he understood that who got what. So we started practicing about a week before. And of course, we trust him or he wouldn't be working for us. It's nothing about trust. It's about routine and knowing what to do, because he doesn't have animals like Catherine does. Catherine feeds every day. She knows, what everybody looks like and what to know if there's something off. But so we went through a little training with Caden, and now we're going back to Alaska next week.
Oh me. Does Holly get in a swimming pool? I don't know if they show any pictures of her getting in the swimming pool.
No.
Now she likes to go to the lake now.
She does love to go to the lake, but let me tell y'all something. The first time that I ever took her to this doggy daycare thing, Jason doesn't go with me to drop her off because it's just best that way. She and him, they have a bond, and it's hard for either of them to see each other away. So I usually take her. First time I ever took her, I had to literally have help. They had to come out and help me get her up the stairs. And this time she ran up there. And that tells me right there that it's a good place.
Yeah.
That's kind of like your kid, that doesn't want to go to daycare,
right.
Cries. You just feel so much better when, either your dog or your child or whatever is happy.
I saw somebody asked, did we get recognized? We didn't get recognized in Seward. If we did, nobody said anything. But for the first time, we did get recognized in the Atlanta airport. Matter of fact, we had gotten through the security, and I'm putting my shoes on because you got to take your shoes off because of the guy trying to light his shoes on fire. I'm trying to put my shoes on, and the guy walks up and he said, "It is an honor to meet you, and I watch you guys all the time." And so that was the first time in the airport that we got recognized. And I tell you what, to me, it's either the TSA people are either super duper nice or they're not. There's like no in between. It's like, sometimes, and I don't know. And I know
Yeah,
you see
it's
so
all
many
or nothing.
people, and I understand all that, but some of them are not nice. And the thing that gets me about them is how they want you to just keep going, keep moving, keep moving. And
there's nowhere to go.
well, one time, and I caught myself because I almost said something ugly and I'm not an ugly person, but I done had it. My limits done been had. So we had 3 carry-ons, we had 3 backpacks, we had 3 pairs of shoes, and they want you to take all your electronics out. So my laptop's out, Mary Carl's iPad's out, all your phones and
Her
stuff's
camera.
out, her camera's out. We had like 7 tubs trying to get X-ray. All right, so they come out the back, and I'm getting them and trying to get everything, and the guy goes, after I'm halfway getting my stuff together, don't just stand there, take your stuff and go over there. And I come this close to saying, look, man, explain to me, I'm not an octopus. How am I supposed to carry all this stuff and get out of your way? So I didn't, but I finished getting my stuff up. I mean, it was impossible. I couldn't even, y'all were helping. Y'all had to put your shoes on and get your stuff. There's no way in the world in 30 seconds, because it takes you forever to get all that stuff out. You know what I mean? It's not like that we were just a one person. All I had was a backpack on.
That's right.
God. Well, and they said that it depends on what X-ray they have as to if they take your electronics out or not.
Yeah.
Some places have X-rays where you don't have to take your electronics out. Some do. And the Seward one on the way back was the one that I got upset with. They make you take everything out.
Oh, they were patting me down at the time.
They make you take everything out.
They thought I had something in my pants, and
it was the CPAP machine. It was Mary Carl's camera. So all this stuff was loose, and it was literally 6 or 7 of those little tubs that you carry, and make you put everything in those tubs.
And our shoes were easy to get on and off. It wasn't the shoes that were the problem. It was everything else.
And I didn't want some cat stealing our laptop or
matter of fact, phone. I almost got somebody's laptop. I thought it was Jason's. Everything's going so fast that I was like, Jason, this is your laptop. He said, no, Brooke, that one's dark gray. Mine's light gray.
Mm-hmm.
And it just.
And did it pick up the rock? I don't know, Mike. You may have.
Michael.
It's in the suitcase, so don't worry about that.
It's not anymore. We got all your rocks lined up. Michael Key collects rocks. And so we when we were packing up, Jason had the rocks just loose in the luggage. And I was like, Jason, don't just put the rocks on top of the clothes. We got to put the rocks in the proper place. So I had all the rocks lined up, and Michael, we got your rocks, buddy.
We got your rocks.
We got your rocks.
Mm-hmm.
No, my CPAP caused attention, and it had to go back through. So that made a mess.
I thought about doing that. I'm going to look into that next time, Retha. You do the TSA check-in, and there's no more problems. I may do that next time. I guess if it wasn't for all the laptop, if it was just nothing we had to take out, try to put back in, I don't know. It was frustrating.
That water, y'all, that water was freezing.
Oh, it's cold.
I don't know how anything can possibly survive in that water. I do not understand how anything can survive in that water. And you may say, why in the world, Brooke, as much as you don't like the cold, why did you go to Alaska? It was a welcome trip. It was not cold to where I couldn't stand it.
It wasn't freezing cold, but it was cool.
It was
cool. And it was overcast. Seward has overcast all the time.
Well, not all the time, but
most of the time.
While we were there. This orange thing is a starfish, and then the purple things are starfish too. But me and Jason, neither one of us knew that starfish lived in cold weather. I guess we need to go back to biology, because it just and look at how beautiful the water is. You see, it looks like you put that pond dye in it. We need to do that to our pond when we get it fixed.
Yeah.
We'll turn it into the Alaska Peninsula.
That's what all the streams and stuff look like that.
And they
It's
say
pretty.
it's because it's melting off of that mountainside.
Mm-hmm.
And we did climb up Exit Glacier some. Oh, there's my overnight oats. That's not very pretty, but it sure tasted good. But they say that the snow melting off of it creates that beautiful blue color.
It's gorgeous.
Here's a picture of one of Michael's rocks.
You took a picture of Michael's rocks.
One of them.
Mike ought to feel special then.
Yeah. Okay, so we were all wanting to know what everybody's favorite bird was, after the trip, because obviously we took Mary Carl birding, and I must say that this was my favorite bird. That is a Steller's jay. Now we have blue jays here, but a Steller's jay is to me just phenomenal. Isn't that beautiful? And
It's pretty.
We kind of thought they were going to be more.
It was a bird that we were trying to find,
Look.
and we couldn't find it.
Look at this one. That's through me across camera, but isn't he cute?
And so it's like blue jays to us. Blue jays are common here, but if you went to go look for one,
You wouldn't find it.
You probably wouldn't find it. And that's kind of how it was with the Steller's jay. And we talked to a lady that had a little community garden, and she was like, "Oh gosh, they're everywhere." And so she told us where to look, and lo and behold, Brooke spotted one in the
I
downtown
pulled
area.
that car over quickly.
Did pulled over. It was 2 or 3 of them right there. Got pictures of them, but since then, we saw them all the time.
Yeah, it was like the nemesis was over. You've seen it now.
That's it.
So you can see them everywhere now.
So there was 2 birds that that right there at the end we were trying to see. Mary Carl was trying to hit 300. She wanted to hit 300 species, and we got all the way up to 298, and then we found one. I can't remember what it was now. Got 299, and then she was stuck on 299. There was one called a golden crown sparrow, which are everywhere, and we never could find them. We tried and we tried and we tried and we looked and we called and we looked and never could see or hear a golden crown sparrow. So on the way back, Miracle had some spots she wanted to stop at to look at some, and got to one. It was almost our last one, and walked around this campsite. Didn't see any. And then I saw a little clearing. We were leaving. Mary Carl was done.
I was sitting in the car.
And I said, this clearing looks like a good spot for one. And we walked another, 20 yards or so, and got in there, and Mary Carl did the call, see if she could hear any playbacks or anything like that, callbacks. And lo and behold, we did. And ended up being a mama and 4 fledglings. And Mary Carl got her 300 bird.
300, number 300.
On the way back. We were on the way back. We were driving back to the airport and got number 300.
Yes, we saw puffins.
Lots of puffins.
We saw tufted puffins, and what's the other
one?
Horn puffins.
Lots of puffins on the boat. So yeah, it was a great birding trip. She got, if you missed it, she got
29.
Was it 29?
29.
29, and I got 45. No, I only got 6 more than she got.
So 39.
39.
Yep,
and I got 45.
That's it was quite the trip, and it was a family trip. While we were thinking it was a birding trip for her, it was wonderful for all. I don't care what you like to do. It was just amazing. What were you looking at?
I thought I was just looking through the pictures.
This is Jason's. I'm gonna say salmon, so y'all don't get mad at me.
Taco.
That was the salmon tacos that were so good. I think that was the first day we were there.
But that's me right there, and that's the glacier behind me.
Here's something.
Glacier.
So you can't. Did you say it wrong?
I don't know. Brooke did get pictures of the whales.
Yeah, I did. So you can't see this very good because I zoomed it in, but this is what you call a doll sheep. and we got to see one of those on the side of the mountain.
And it's not like baby doll. It's DALL or
DAHL.
DAT. I knew it was different.
Here he was through the camera lens, just a picture of a picture. But isn't that amazing? Just standing on the side of the mountain. And we saw that on the train ride from Anchorage to Seward. We had reindeer sausage, or caribou. Had caribou soup.
Thanks, Lori.
It was very good. Just amazing. Just amazing.
Just amazing. It was fun.
We don't really have a lot of animal talk this live because we haven't been here.
Yeah.
So I hope we didn't disappoint anybody by talking about our trip, but
because we just got back.
It's just kind of hard to talk about animals when you don't have any. I mean, Catherine could have come on here and told you about our animals, or Caden, but we are just now getting back. So
just got back. Our flight left at
2 days ago.
8:40 p.m.
July the 3rd.
And it was basically 7:40 a.m. when we got back because of the time change.
Well, now when we took off, our flight was delayed 3 hours in Atlanta.
The first one.
In Atlanta.
Yeah, the first one was delayed. That's the first time we ever had a flight delayed. And it was because of crew member. There was the
pilot was on
co-pilot, I think, was on in Orlando, and there was storming in Orlando, so his flight was delayed to get back, and so that's what
we were thinking that trip might not happen because the lady that was sitting there with us, she had missed her flight to Seattle the day before and had to spend the night in the airport, so she wasn't very hopeful that the plane was actually going to take off.
I tell you what, for as much as she went to, she was a bubbly person.
She was a bubbly person, and she had a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And 10-year-olds are not patient. And I tell you what, I thought to myself, if she's not upset, nobody in this airport needs to be upset because she's been here for 48 hours.
Yeah, she was in good spirits, and she was like, "This is the same thing that happened." They kept delaying it.
Yeah, she said, and so I told her, I said, look, I said, she said, they never told us what the problem was. I said, I'm fixing to find out. So I went up to the desk and I asked the person, I said, do you think this flight's actually going to take off? And she said, yes, we're just waiting. And that's when they told me that the pilot was on another plane. And I went and told her, and she was grinning then. She was just kind of like, yay.
Good deal. We're going.
Yeah.
We're actually going.
So we are home, and we will begin our farming after this morning's live, and on Tuesday we should be back to normal talk. And we won't try to bore y'all with vacation talk if you don't want to hear that kind of thing, but today's live was a little bit different. So
it was either that or no live.
It was either talking about that or no live. So like I said, I hope we didn't bore anybody. And Jason did talk to Lester yesterday evening, and Lester wanted to know if we were going to do our live. And Jason looked at his watch, and it was 5:00. And he said, no, man, we're not going to do our live. And then he realized it was 5:00 in the afternoon, not 5:00 in the morning. He thought we were that close to doing the live.
Well, what had happened is we had gotten back, and we were all tired. Of course, you can't sleep. I mean, we all dozed off on the airplane, but you can't sleep well on the airplane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we got home, we took care of everything, checked on everybody, unpacked, started washing clothes, and we all laid down and took a nap. And I woke up and I looked over and I saw it was 5, and I thought it was 5 in the morning. It was 5 in the evening. I definitely, without a shadow of doubt, 1,000% thought I had slept until 5:00 in the morning. Without a doubt.
Well, we all went back to sleep last night, and we slept through the night, and Mary Carl's still asleep. So we're back, and I'm going to go pick Holly up, and I will have a video tomorrow, and things should be back to halfway normal.
Yep.
I'll be dreaming of Alaska. And if any of y'all have an opportunity to go, please do so, because it is beautiful, beautiful country. I have never in my life thought about going to Alaska.
Absolutely.
Honestly, I never thought about going to Alaska.
And me either. And Seward was unbelievable.
And that gentleman said that. I was like, Alaska
Unbelievable.
for birds?
If you want a slow paced, sit back, relax, do whatever you want on your own time. Don't have to worry about hustle and bustle and moving, and that is the place to go.
As a matter of fact, a friend of mine's mama started asking me questions because I posted some things on my personal page, and she said, Brooke, you don't have to have a passport, right? And I said, no, not unless you're driving, because you drive through Canada, so you have to have a passport. If you're flying, you don't have to have a passport. She's going.
Oh, really?
Yes. And she's a good bit older than my mama, not to say there's an age limit on travel.
Right.
But I was so happy to see that, she saw the pictures and she said, hey, this is beautiful countryside and I'm going to make it happen.
It's unreal.
It's unreal.
It's unreal.
So I'd be happy to share with anybody that's wanting to go how to get there, how we did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't believe nothing went wrong.
Yep.
I can't believe nothing went wrong on our travels. Just we got from point A to point B with no problems.
Yep. And Jamie and Lester are live.
Jamie and Lester are live.
Yep.
So we're going to go, y'all. And I hope y'all enjoyed it. And we'll be back here on Tuesday. Is your coffee empty?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm so glad to have Cog Hill coffee back. Oh, and lip shimmer. While we were gone, Laura delivered lip shimmer to Jacqueline.
Yep.
So if you guys were waiting on that, there was lots of people that wanted some when it got back in stock. Lip shimmer is available on the website, www.coghillfarm.com. Y'all be good.
Y'all have a great day.